And I know Hershey, of course, is doing a lot more these days than just chocolate, popcorn, and of course, you recently closed that transaction of Dots Pretzels. How much is the pretzel business helping out the chocolate business right now?
So certainly we are thrilled with the first quarter results that we put up with our net sales up 16% and EPS up 32%, and thrilled that we were able to raise guidance for the year as a result of that on both the top and the bottom line. You know, as you ask about the portfolio, the great thing is we've seen strength across the board. Our U.S. confection business has had strong demand, our international business, strong demand, and our recent acquisitions over the past couple of years in the salty snack business, also very strong demand.
I want to talk about that forward guidance and really the mix of that as we're thinking about volume, but then also thinking about pricing amidst some of the headlines and your pricing power with consumers.
Sure. So as we look at the first quarter, you know, our growth was balanced. We got some growth from price and we got some growth from volume. As we go forward, we do anticipate that there might be a little bit more pressure on volume. We are actively watching consumers and the reaction in the marketplace as government subsidies really subside. But we every day are having a lot of discussion about how we maximize and optimize the value equation for consumers, for our customers, for our employees, and for the shareholders. And one thing that we're really committed to is this category, our categories of snacks, especially confection, has always been accessible. It's a bit of an affordable luxury, and it's our job to keep it that way. So we have about 25% of our portfolio that retails for $2 or less, and we think that's really important so that everyone can participate in our category, even in inflationary times.
Well, Michele, sticking with the topic of pricing power, when I went through the results, what caught my eye was your adjusted gross margin grew by 45.8%. Estimates had been for 45%. That's a very, very strong margin growth. But in terms of raising prices, I'd love to hear by how much you're actually doing that. And have you seen any signs of pushback from consumers at this point?
You know, at this point in time, about 6 points of our growth in Q1 came from price, and those are from pricing actions that we had put in the market last year. At this point in time, we have not seen a consumer reaction to the pricing that hit the market this year on our business. And I do believe that's because consumers have strong affinity for our brands, and we do continue to optimize that value equation with them and always make sure that we've got those great opening entry price points.
I also want to talk about the idea of supply here, Michele, and supply for some of the products that you need, including palm oil. There's been a lot of discussion right now about some of the protectionist measures some countries are taking now to protect their food supply in the face of higher inflation. We know that there are some issues with Malaysia and palm oil, and of course, Indonesia and Sri Lanka when it comes to soybean oil. How are you navigating this environment, an environment where you may not necessarily have the global reach to get what you need when you need it?
Well, I think it's certainly navigating this inflationary environment and the struggles with global supply chain are something that we're all experiencing. You know, we, like everyone, are seeing cost increases. And for us, they have been most impacting us in the areas where we either can't or don't hedge. So in dairy, in the oils in particular, especially with the Ukraine situation, oils have been impacted, and then also packaging and logistics due to oil prices overall. Relative to ingredients, we are constantly in the marketplace. We have multiple sources of supply and trying to always have multiple sources of supply to make sure that we have the ingredients we need to be able to produce all of our products. In some cases, we may need to do reformulations, but we are looking out pretty far to make sure that we have the supply we need. And then more broadly, relative to our manufacturing ability to get supply, we've continued to invest in our supply chain. We've hired a lot more people in our manufacturing network. We have multiple manufacturing lines that are up and running now, 3 new distribution centers, and 10 additional manufacturing lines that will come online in the next 2 years.
Michele, I think it's interesting. The last time you and I spoke, I just come off of an interview with the Mondelez CFO, and one initiative they've been really working on is mindfulness and trying to help the consumer make better choices when it comes to consuming sweets and treats. How top of mind is that for you as you think about sort of the health of the consumer physically, as well as some of the emotional aspects of these sweet treats?
You know, we've always taken an approach, which is we want to offer consumers choice. And we know that there are some times when consumers want more indulgent products, and there are some times that they want more permissible products. So we want to make sure we have all of those offerings, whether they're sweet or salty. We also spend a lot of time and have a very broad portfolio relative to portion size, so that if somebody wants to eat, you know, one Hershey Kiss, that's a choice that they can make. And if they want to have a, you know, king size Reese's,
If that were possible, that would be great.
hey, you talk to consumers and you'll hear the broad range of what they like. But I'm glad to hear that you all don't want to have just one.